up? How are we all doing? How's your Friday night going? How's life? How's things? Let me know what you're up to this weekend. Let me know what you're doing, what you've done this week. But the week is over, at least. The working week, the school week, whatever you've been doing, I don't know. But you've got the weekend coming up, and we're starting the weekend, even though it is an international break, we're starting the weekend with some club football. And some very good club football, it's got to be said. Real Valladolid against Las Palmas in La Liga 2, the Segunda Liga in Spain. Some proper club football. Some proper club football, this. And yeah, looking forward to it. From the Estadio Municipal José Zorrilla Stadium in Valladolid. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Las Palmas, relegated last season, they're third in the table and really pushing to go back up. Valladolid, probably not. I mean, Valladolid not far behind them, but Valladolid probably not primed to come back into La Liga, whereas Las Palmas, I think, probably will fancy the chances. Ian, how's it going? Good to see you, mate. How's things? Ethan, what's going on? Reese, got any Espanol for us, Key? Ho, do I? Hola, amigos. Buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos noches, all that good stuff. I might throw a little bit more in your way as the game's going on. But it's good. It's going to be a good night, this one, a good game. I'm expecting a relatively low-scoring one, though. I will say that should be a fairly tight contest. Watch it be about 4-4 now. Swifty, evening Key. Can't say I have any interest in this game, but good for you with the variety. Hey, listen, it's all footy. It's all a good game of footy, I'm sure. It's got to be better than England last night. Christ, we watched England last night. That was dreadful. This has got to be better than that. I hold it out hope anyway. Ian, has the international break come at a good time or a bad time for Liverpool? No, not this time. I don't think it has. I think the last international break was very good for us. It was a useful reset, and it was maybe good for the players to kind of go off and then kind of go with the national teams, get a break away from the noise and whatever, and come back and thrive. I think this time we needed to get back into another game. We actually needed the midweek Champions League game again. I think we would have much benefited from that, because I don't think the performance against Manchester City was as bad as maybe many. I mean, well, it was bad, but we were very unlucky. If Van Dijk scores, different game. City score from a deflection, and apart from the worldie from Doku, I don't really look at. Well, a couple of deflections actually. They deserve to win, City. I'm not knocking that, but I think what I'm saying is Liverpool played really well against Villa, really well against Real Madrid. We go to City where they've won 14 out of the last 15 games. They're absolutely fantastic. There's no shame in losing at City, and I really thought that Liverpool did okay in the first half, or at least well enough that we should have gone in at half-time at 1-1. So yeah, unlucky, very unlucky, and I think I would have liked us to get back into it and kind of focus. Going away and separating the team was probably not the ideal thing. And why is Foden getting all the credit for Eze's goal last night, and what does Foden have over the English press? Well, I think people like Foden because he's everything. It's almost the English. We have a little bit of a. Do we have a little bit of a? What's the word I'm going for here? Bit of an insecurity, I guess, with like our identity, our persona, and the national game. Do you not think it feels like the English press, the English national team, and we always. Look at Adam Wharton, right? Adam Wharton, Phil Foden, these are footballers who are cherished because they're not the old sort of, they're not Declan Rice. Declan Rice is an English footballer, isn't he? He's all energy, he's a big, tall, strong lad, he can get up and down the pitch. That's an English midfielder. Phil Foden doesn't really fit that profile. Adam Wharton doesn't really fit that profile. So we like it because if you put Wharton or Foden in that Spain team, they probably work, don't they? They probably fit. And there's a little bit of that sort of, the Spanish midfielders, they could fit in the Brazil side maybe, and we like that about them. They're cultured. So I feel like maybe with Foden, maybe even to a degree Cole Palmer as well. I think Foden, Cole Palmer, we've always yearned for players like that. And we've never often got them. We've often had practical wide players. So when we do land on a wonderful sort of talented, diminutive midfielder, I think the English press lauds them far more than perhaps they should. What we saying? Jake Fitzpatrick, my B-day is next. At least Liverpool won't ruin it. And Joseph, never seen such a dedication to watching football games as much as you. Fair play. I like footy matches. And if there's a footy game on, we'll watch it. That's what it's about. But I like just having a chinwag as well. I like having a chat with you lads and lasses and talking away, shunnering away about shite. It's all good, innit? Aaron, less stress watching this match than your team at the weekend, mate? Something like that, Aaron, yeah. Something like that. It's easier watching Real Valladolid and Las Palmas because we can just enjoy the occasion for what it is. But yeah, Liverpool have not brought me much. I didn't realise this. I didn't know this until the other day. Someone said Liverpool's run of defeat that we've been on is our worst run of defeats since 1998. The Roy Evans and Gerard Houllier dual management disaster was about that time. And that's the time I remember Liverpool, like, that was our peak shitness. In the nicest possible way. That was when when I was growing up. I've still got trauma from that. Liverpool at prime shitness. Michael Owen was just coming through, but we still had Bjorn Torkavami, we had Paul Ince, we had, Vegard Hegem on the right. Vegard Hegem was actually alright, to be fair. I shouldn't really do him down. Frode Kipper, Leonardson. Neil Ruddock, I think, might have still been lingering round. I'm not sure. No, Neil Ruddock had gone by that point. But yeah, it was a bad Liverpool team. The only good bit about that Liverpool team was Michael Owen coming through. Robbie Fowler had he was very much on the wane. He'd had a bad knee injury. We had Karl-Heinz Riedler up front. Come on, Ian. Ian, help me out. Who else did we have in that Liverpool team? 1998 was the last time Liverpool went on a losing run like this. Oh, we had a bad team, that. I'm going to look. Let me have a look and see now, because I've piqued my curiosity. 98-99 Liverpool season. Gerrard was just coming through, but he didn't really play enough. It was bad. That was it. Bab, listen to this for the back line. We had Bjorn Torkavami, Rigobert Song, Steve Staunton, Phil Babb, David James in net as well. And not the good David James. We had Calamity James. But friggin' hell, Cavani, Song, Phil Babb, and an ageing Steve Staunton on the left. We had in midfield, we had Oyvind Leonardson, Paul Ince, David Thompson. David Thompson was okay for a spell. And Jamie Redknapp whenever he could get off the treatment table. Steve McManaman, but he wanted to leave. Oh, it was a bad time that to be a Liverpool fan. Steve Harkness as well. Ian, 92-93 was worse. Key. Nicky Tanner, Paul Stewart, Is Van Cosmer. Oh, yeah, there was some bad eggs in 92-93 as well. We signed Clough that season as well. They always forget about Nigel Clough. Nigel Clough actually didn't have a bad record with us. I mean, he was only here for a year, but I always remember he scored against United, didn't he, in that 3-3? What we saying? And you paid half a bill for the privilege? Well, not quite. Not quite. Jake, you watch football nearly every day, even when it's not Liverpool playing. I do. And listen, to put the cherry on top, you've lost more than us this year. I know, but we're not going to finish below. Listen, that's a nice little thing United fans will thrive on at the minute. You've had a little bit of an upturn, which is about time given the amount of money you spent. But I always said United you will eventually get it right. MC, post Spice Boy, pre-Owen, Julia era. Julia and Evans, I think, was manager in that season. It was a joint manager. That's never happened before in the Premier League. Never happened since. Probably for no real surprise that we had joint managers. That's such... People have forgot about that. Ian Young, Bernard Diarmed, Rigobert Song, yep. Jean-Michel Ferry, widely regarded as one of the worst, if not the worst, Liverpool signing of all time. Jean-Michel Ferry was signed by Gerard Houllier to be a spy in the dressing room. Did you know that? He freely admitted it. He signed this fella who was an overweight French player. He just brought him in because he knew him. He knew him really well. And he just wanted him, a French player, in the changing room because he'd come into this environment, didn't really know the players closely enough, and he wanted to get a feel for what was going on. And Jean-Michel Ferry literally came in. Don't even know if he played a game for us. Did he kick a ball for us? Jean-Michel Ferry. Houllier just wanted a man in the dressing room. Ian, Paul Ince wasn't as bad as people remember for us. Oh, I hated him. He was dreadful, I thought. I mean, there's certainly worse midfielders, don't get me wrong. I think if we're talking like worst top 10, even top 20 midfielders, worst Liverpool midfielders in the... I don't think Paul Ince makes it. He was the captain, though. And it was one of them that... It was like he's the least deserving Liverpool... I never felt with Paul Ince as captain, like, you know, he's leading us to battle or anything like that. I hated it. I hated him as our captain. Joe, how's it going? Aaron Houllier won a treble somehow, didn't he? Not the proper one, but he still did well. Houllier, it's my biggest bugbear that Gerard Houllier is not on the flag in the Cop. We're off and underway here, by the way, at Valladolid. Real Valladolid against Las Palmas. 5th against 3rd in the Segunda Liga. Should be a good game, this one. We'll go through the lineups in a minute because there's a couple of ex-faces you might... ex-Premier League faces you might recommend, or remember rather, not recommend. Miss Sarah, I'm going to buy the Firmino shirt with a New Balance sponsor, 2016-17. Nice. Mick92, key lad, how are we? Good to see you, mate. How's things? Good to have a blue on, as always. Oh, is he saying Houllier was joint manager but wouldn't consider it the Houllier era? No, not that time. That was his time when he came in and basically... I think he was there to kind of undermine Roy Evans, wasn't he? He just came in to have a pop at Roy Evans. It was a shame, really. Because Roy Evans was a proper Liverpool man, you know, going back to the boot room era and everything. He was a top guy, Roy Evans, and he didn't deserve to be ousted in the way that he was, but he was. LG, have you done the lineup game beginning with Q? No, I haven't, mate. We've only been live for like 15 minutes or so. So we haven't done the lineup game. We will probably do the lineup game at some point tonight, I assure you. We will play the lineup game. MC, Houllier was joint manager. Oh, we've done that one, sorry. Alex, how are things? Good. Good to see you, mate. What's it on? It's on Premier Sports. Premier Sports 1. So if you've got Amazon Prime, I'm not sure if it's an extra charge. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if did we pay extra to get Premier Sports, or is it just... I think you just got it with Prime. I don't know. I can't remember if you got it with Prime or if you have to pay extra to get Premier Sports through Prime. But I'm watching it via my Amazon Prime app. So you go on your Amazon Prime app, your Premier Sports at the top, and then it's on the Real Valladolid, Las Palmas, Premier Sports 1 it is as well, not Premier Sports 2. Luke Etherington, what did you think of Ronaldo red card yesterday? I have not seen it yet. No, I've not seen it. I'll have to have a look. Mick92, tired, been in work all day. Out of interest, what do you do, Mick? You don't have to tell us like where and everything, but give us a broad feeling. What do you do for work? I'm intrigued. I'm always fascinated with people's careers. Lisha, into 6 years at United wasn't bad, to be fair. No, he was certainly a United player, wasn't he? I think that was maybe one of the mistakes that Ferguson talked about Paul Ince and said he possibly sold him too early. But he was a very good player for United. He just didn't really cut the mustard for Liverpool. He was arguably a better player for Borough when he went to Borough. He did all right at Middlesbrough, but he was crap for us. And he was crap for Wolves as well. Alex, Brazil on TV tomorrow. Yes, Brazil are playing Senegal tomorrow in a friendly. I think Argentina are playing Angola tonight as well. There's a couple of odd ones happening. I think South Korea played Bolivia today as well. Don't really keep up with the international friendlies. I hate friendlies. Courtois. Ian, $12.99 a month on Prime. Is it really? Oh, Christ. Joe, fans are being warned for the Marseille game. Glad I turned down the ticket I was offered. Yeah, definitely be careful with France. Yeah, France and football, away trips in France are not ideal. That's been the case going back quite a while. I remember, I've been to a few away games in France, but they've always been relatively tame, I guess. It's not been like a big Champions League game or something like that. It's been I think the one that always sticks in my mind is Lille, and it was a dead group stage game, but we'd already booked it. But one of my mates went to Strasbourg, Liverpool Strasbourg back in the day, and apparently that was bad. Factory worker. I've done that. I've been there. I did 12-hour shifts at, where was it, Fujitsu. 12-hour shifts at Fujitsu back in the day. 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. They were grim nights. But yeah, I've done factory work. It's hard graft, mate, so you've got my sympathy. Enjoy the weekend, or whenever it is until your next shift anyway. MC, Ronaldo, red card was hilarious. You should have a look. I will do, yeah. LG, England could face Uruguay and Japan for March friendlies. And Thomas Roberts, how do Portugal lose to Ireland? It's a peculiar one, isn't it? I did think Portugal would have that one wrapped up, but it's a great result for Ireland, that. Historic, you might say. LG, Quenda and Kwanzaa, two good ones. Quenda doesn't count, he's not played in the Premier League, but Kwanzaa certainly. Mick92, I've been at my job for 14 years. Bloody hell, good lad. Good lad. My brother works in a factory as well. How many jobs have you had? I worked in a hospital. It was probably my first... Well, no, it wasn't my first job, actually. Was Fujitsu my first job? I think Fujitsu was my first job, actually. Working in the factory. And then I worked in a hospital. Working like midnight till 8 in the morning. Night shifts at the hospital. That was really interesting, actually. And then after that, I've only had like three since then. Yeah, so I had a couple early on. I like moved around a little bit, 6 months here, 12 months there, and then after that I was pretty settled. I was at the same place for like 6 years, and then same place for 7 years, and then yeah, been pretty steady Eddie since then. And then I've been doing this. I've been doing this for, I don't know why I looked at my watch then like I'm gonna get a date. 12 months. 12 months doing this, nearly anyway. Lisha, do you remember Paul Ince's time at Swindon Town and Macclesfield Town? So random. I don't know. I don't remember him going. And do you know what? I always... Because Gaza did the same, and he kind of dropped down a little bit, dropped down the leagues. And I never really thought Ince did. I remember Ince going to Wolves and going to Borough. But I couldn't tell you if he went anywhere else. But I believe you, absolutely. Information Walla, how's it going? Hello, Ireland beat Portugal. What's your opinion? It's a huge night for Ireland. Great performance, evidently. I haven't seen the goals or the sending off, but 2-0 against Portugal is a really good result. Big important win for Ireland, that in the World Cup qualifying. First real chance of the game. Las Palmas just hit it wide. Still need to do the lineups. I'll do the lineups in a sec. Bermuda 777. Both teams to score in this one. I think that might be ambitious. These are usually low-scoring games in La Liga. They're usually... La Liga 2. They're very, very low-scoring games, typically. So, I Let's have a look. Let's have a look, and we'll do a prediction, right? So, in terms of head-to-head, Las Palmas have been involved in... Oh, sorry, Valladolid. Valladolid's last game was 0-0 against Cadiz. Then it was 2-1 against Granada. Then it was 1-0 loss against Portugalete. Las Palmas strike, unlucky. And then 1-1 with La Coruña. So 1-0 Burgos, 1-1, 0-1. They're all quite low-scoring games for Valladolid. And it's the same, really, with Las Palmas. Actually, no, it's not. Las Palmas won 3-1 against Santander. Lost 3-1 against Extremadura. Won 3-1 at Eibar. 1-1 with Huesca. 0-0 with Sporting Gijón. So, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's both teams to score tonight. You might get very good odds for that, actually. Both teams to score would be a surprise because... To be honest, looking at the standings, Valladolid have got 15 goals in 14 games this season. Doesn't suggest goals, does it? And Las Palmas also have 15 goals in 14 games this season. And on the flip side of that, by the way, Las Palmas have the best defence in the whole division. They have conceded only 8 goals. 8 goals in 14 games they've conceded. So I expect Las Palmas to keep clean sheets. I expect very few goals in this one. I'd go maybe 1-0, 1-1 at an absolute push. But I fancy Las Palmas. I'm going to say 1-0 to Las Palmas in this one. That's my prediction. LG, he has for Chelsea. Quenda hasn't, has he? Giovanni Quenda hasn't played for Chelsea. No, he's not even signed for Chelsea yet. He only signs for Chelsea in the summer. Yeah, Quenda's not played for Chelsea yet, mate. Ooh, good strike from Peter. Great strike from the winger of Valladolid there. Good play. Nearly 1-0. Mad Pope, evening, sir. Got the Scottish Masters football on the big telly. Just wondering if they play well. Can the players join the first team? King Solbo TV, new to the channel and I've subscribed. Oh, thanks very much, mate. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. And in answer to your question, who's the best Las Palmas player in your opinion? Well, we're just about to go through the lineups. Oh, here's Peter. Big chance for Valladolid. Oh, unlucky. Nearly 1-0. It's Peter again. Peter down the right-hand side causing all sorts of problems for Las Palmas. Fabulous player as well. Peter, what's his surname? He's just known as Peter. He's Peter Federico. Young Dominican Republic forward. Signed from Getafe in the summer. Came through the Real Madrid Academy. He's starting to play really well in this game. Burst of pace down the right-hand side. Maybe should have done a bit better once he gets towards the edge of the 6-yard box. But good save from Hawkas in the Las Palmas goal. In terms of the best player for Las Palmas, I would say Mika Marmol. Mika Marmol, for me, is a player who has a big, big future in the game. I think he could play for Barcelona, to be honest. He's one of them who can move across the back line. He's played left back, right back. He's centre back tonight. Very, very talented player, Mika Marmol. Still only 23, and I think he might have a chance. He came through the Barcelona Academy. So the team tonight is Hawkas. This is Las Palmas, by the way. Hawkas in goal, Clemente, Marmol, Sergio Garcia, Marvin, and then in midfield it is Pegino, Rodriguez, Amatucci, and Garcia. Chance for Valladolid. Oh no, cleared away, and now Las Palmas on the counter. Las Palmas on the counter attack. Oh, what a finish! 1-0. 1-0, Las Palmas have scored. I told you we might get an early goal in this one. If there was going to be goals, it was probably going to be an early one. And Las Palmas, the team who have got the best defensive record in the whole of La Liga 2, they've gone in front. And who is it who scored it? Pegino. I can't say I'm familiar with Pegino. 29 years of age. Pegino, signed from Elche in the summer. It was a great ball down the right-hand side. He cuts in on his left foot and just drills it near post. Really, really good goal Fabulous finish. And it's 1-0 to Las Palmas. I love that. It was a great goal. Las Palmas are the last team that I saw live in Spain. I went watching Malaga v Las Palmas. Great goal. Fabulous finish, that, from Pagino. So Rodriguez, Garcia, Amatucci, Pagino, and then up front is Lukovic. Milos Lukovic, 19 years of age. He's got 4 goals and assists in 10 games this season. Signed from Heerenveen in the summer. He could be one to watch. And Fuster as well. Manuel Fuster, a bit more of an experienced player. Again, he's had a decent start to the season. 4 goals and assists in 13 appearances. So not bad at all from him. And Valladolid have got Guilherme Fernandes in goal. It's a great strike, that. That's a brilliant strike from Pagino. Runs straight over to the manager. And that's a big goal for Las Palmas, because that takes them top of the table now. Could go top. Depends on, obviously, results over the weekend. Santander still have to play. La Coruña still have to play. There's definitely still time for others to get back up there. But Las Palmas currently top of La Liga 2 and maybe going back up to La Liga. They went down last year. Could they go back up? King Solbo, could we see him in the Premier League? Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think Mika Marmol could play in the Prem. Lisha doing what at the hospital? Oh God. It was basically, it was like records. It was medical records. So like, if you came in with a broken leg, what happens is, behind the scenes, I didn't know about this until I started working in the job. It might even have changed now, but this is how it used to be 15 years ago. In fact, I know it has changed. It definitely has changed. But about 15, 18 years ago, whenever it was I had this job, if someone came in with a broken leg, as soon as you arrive in A&E, or whatever you come into A&E with, the people at A&E phoned me and went, right, this fella's come in with a broken leg. We need to go and pull his file. Go and get his file and get it scanned onto the system. Right? So I'd have to go to a big, like, dusty warehouse, and your unique patient number would be like 65734-421593B or whatever, right? I'd then go to a big dusty warehouse, and it was scary at like 3 a.m. in the morning. You'd go and find your specific folder. Like, I'd have to know where all the 4231Bs were in the building, and it was massive. You'd find it, pull your folder, run back over to the office, look through your detailed, intimate medical records, and then scan it onto the system so that the doctor who sees you in A&E can actually see you and know your record. That's what used to happen. It's not anymore. I was basically part of I think it was like was it a 5 or a 10 year project to get everyone's physical medical records scanned onto the system. That's what we used to do. But there was like urgent ones where he's coming to the hospital, you need to go and see him. So we'd have to run down. That was my night, basically, from 12 a.m. till 8 a.m. I'd be sat in a room like that, waiting until a fax came through and it'd say, whatever. Martin Dubravka, he's got a broken wrist. Go and get his file. Bermuda, can both teams score now? What do you think about both teams to score? Yes, yeah, both teams absolutely can score. 1-0 up Las Palmas. Of course Valladolid could pinch one. They've had chances in this game. Josh, I love football, but do you not ever get a little bit bored watching these random teams? What random teams? Mate, Valladolid and Las Palmas are not random teams. They're not random teams. They're La Liga teams last year, pretty much. They've just dropped down a division. It's still a really good game. It's just in La Liga 2. It's the same way, like, if the Championship was on right now, would you watch it? I would. King Solbo, what do you watch the game on? It's on Premier Sports 1, mate. You can watch it on Premier Sports 1. If you go to Amazon Prime, at the very, very top, click Premier Sports. It's Premier Sports number 1, Las Palmas against Real Valladolid. Philippines, all right, Key, my man. Predictions for the Germany game. 9-0. Germany against Luxembourg. I think maybe it's going to be a high-scoring one. 6-0. I'll go 6-0. Vert's hat-trick. Josh, Las Palmas defence via Arsenal defence. And Costa, I hate the international break, man. Joe, you need to watch out for Ponto, for Real Valladolid. Why? Is he an ex-Newcastle player or something, or is he on loan or something? King Solbo, are they shown weekly on there? Yes, the vast majority of La Liga games are shown on Premier Sports. That's why I thought it was a decent investment at whatever it is, £12 a month. I've just found out. I didn't know it was that. But I subscribed to it at the start of the season. Given the amount of football I watch on this channel, I thought it was a worthwhile investment. So, yeah, Premier Sports, you can get it on there, and they show a ton of La Liga 2. Yeah, they have some good footy on Premier Sports. Kilo 1, how's it going? Good evening, sir. How's things? And Mad Pup says, sometimes the lower league games are better than the Premiership. Very, very true. I think most would agree the Championship probably been better than the Premier League for some years, hasn't it? It's over, says, can you pronounce Valladolid properly, please? Can you spell it phonetically for me, or spell it in a way that I can pronounce it correctly? Come on, you educate me. Educate me. How should Valladolid be pronounced? Is it Valladolid? Is that how you want to pronounce it? Real Valladolid. Do you ever watch any League of Ireland? I haven't watched any League of Ireland. We've watched games involving League of Ireland teams. Just Irish in general. We've had Larne, we've had Shelbourne, we've had games involving Dundalk, we've had games involving, who else did we have? Shamrock Rovers. We've done a fair few Irish teams from Northern and Southern Ireland. But yeah, but I don't think we've done any League of Ireland. No. Joe, did you ever deal with any footballers? No, we didn't deal with any. I didn't deal with any footballers anyway, not in that sense, because it was only one hospital trust where I was working, so there wasn't really any footballers in that area. It was for St Helens and Knowsley, so there's never really ever any footballers around that way. Manny, thoughts on Southampton's season so far? It's not going great, is it? I thought that the move to sack Will Still was very interesting. What did you make of it as a Southampton fan? Is that the right move? Is that the right call? I thought Will Still was doing... I mean, I didn't think he was doing all right, but it's a bit of a project, and I thought they was going to give it to him and maybe not expect him to come straight back up to the Premier League, but maybe build and come back up in a year or two, but much stronger. A bit like Scott Parker did with Burnley. Valladolid. Okay, Valladolid. Fine. Well, I'll go with your pronunciation going forward. Jake Fitzpatrick, all of our boys are starting for Netherlands v Poland. Get them off the pitch quickly. MC, I'm looking at Premier Sport and don't see it. Is Premier Sport different in UK to Ireland? News to me. Hang on a minute. You're looking at Premier Sport and don't see it. Is it Premier... No, go to Amazon. Go to the Amazon Prime app. If you go to the Amazon Prime app, it's right at the very top. Valladolid down the left-hand side now. Oh, sorry, Valladolid. Down the right-hand side. Good strike. Just wide. Shell, evening. Come on, Northern Ireland. MC, have Premier Sport with Sky. Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, good. Any Fulham shirts making stuff nice? I haven't got any Fulham... I have. No, I have got a Fulham shirt. It's the one with the Pizza Hut logo from a long, long time ago. It's about 25 years ago. when you first came into the Premier League. Might even have been a little bit later than that. Maybe 2002, 2003 was it? Yeah. Yeah, so that's the only Fulham shirt I've got. When you had Facundo Sava up front. Is it Premier Sport or Premier Sport? It's Premier Sport in Ireland, maybe they're different. I think it's Premier Sports. Premier Sports, all one word. Premier Sports 1 Live is what I'm watching this on. And also, again, the other reason I thought Las Palmas would win this one is because they're unbeaten in their last 6 away league matches. 2 wins, 4 draws, and the best defensive record in the league. So I genuinely thought Las Palmas would win this one. I really did. And also, the head-to-heads favour Las Palmas too. I think Las Palmas are unbeaten in the last 3 head-to-heads with Valladolid as well. Liga, and it's like the green and black badge. Yes, it is. Archie, 658. How's it going, Archie? Six of the last 8 meetings between these sides had under 2.5 goals. So, low goals is the order of the day. Las Palmas are already 1-0 in front, so that's a good sign. But it's going to be interesting to see exactly how we go. Hey, Pup, who's playing for Rangers in the Masters? Have you got any decent players in there? Any, Michael Moles or is Giovanni Van Bronckhorst come for a game, seeing as Liverpool aren't playing? Claudio Caniggia, any of them? First game, Dundee United 3, Celtic 0. Jake Fitzpatrick, in your opinion, who's winning the Champions League this year? Could be any one of like 5 or 6 teams, couldn't it? I don't think Bayern win it. I think Bayern defensively are not good enough. I think attacking wise, they're maybe the best in Europe, possibly. They're fantastic going forward, but I think defensively they're a problem. I think City could win it. I've got a horrible feeling about Arsenal. I think Arsenal win I don't think Arsenal win the Premier League, but I think they win the Champions League. Oh, big chance! Very nearly 1-1. Valladolid's getting through. They're unlucky. Very unlucky. Big save again from the keeper, Hawkas. Lisha, your audio on here for TikTok is kind of bluffering. Don't know if it's just me. Well, I've got a mic coming. I've got a new mic for TikTok. Because at the minute, I'm just using my phone audio. But I've got a mic for TikTok that should make the whole experience from an audio perspective a little bit better. So, yeah, I have got that coming. It'll be here soon. That should make the audio experience a bit better. Rubes, how's it going? And MC, will England win the World Cup? No, I don't think so. Not in my opinion, they won't. Will it be them clip-on ones? No, it's not the clip-on ones. The clip-on ones don't seem to work very well. They tend to drop out an awful lot. So what I've got is an actual boom mic. So it plugs into the bottom of my phone on TikTok. YouTube, you won't feel it because I've got the professional mic on YouTube and Twitch and X and everywhere else. But TikTok, I'm going to have one that plugs into the bottom of the phone, and it's got a little boom mic that comes round here, so the boom mic will be about here, so you can just it'll feed into it that way. Jack Morgan, you can tell it's the international break. Hey, nothing wrong with this game, mate. Don't play down La Liga 2. Nothing wrong with La Liga 2. These are the best games, in my opinion. These are the games that we end up doing really well on. We have the best live experience on these games, these types of ones anyway, during the international break. MC, do you prefer TikTok or YouTube? I don't know, I like both. They're both kind of different. TikTok's maybe a touch busier. But YouTube, you don't get limited in terms of, the comments that you can put. So I feel like YouTube's maybe a bit better for you as a viewing experience. I think you've got a scoreboard. It's a bit nicer. It's a bit cleaner. The audio's better on YouTube. So people generally tend to start on TikTok and move over to YouTube. Some people stay on TikTok. That's fine too. So I don't really have a preference. I like both. Pup watching Rangers v Aberdeen in the Masters. Yeah, who's playing? Give me some names, Pup. Who's playing for Rangers in the Masters? Lisha feels like that's the ones live streamers use though when doing IRL streams. Yeah, to be honest, they do, but I just always feel like they're just called lavalier mics. I've got them, but they don't really work. Chance for Las Palmas here. Unlucky, well done, cleared away. And MC, why is La Liga 2 on during international break? Championship isn't, is it? No, Championship isn't, but League 1 and League 2 are. So we're watching League 1 and League 2 this weekend. I'm doing MK Dons against Salford. So yeah, sometimes it depends, Sometimes countries will continue to play the lower leagues because they don't. The most of the players don't get sent off around the world. There's not many internationals in La Liga 2 or in League 1, League 2. But the Championship, evidently, there's enough internationals in the Championship that it would massively hurt them if they played during the international breaks. Pup says, Cammy Bell, Pedro Mendes, Kirk Broadfoot, Barry Ferguson, Lee McCulloch, Nacho Novo, Morris Ross, Martin Wagon. Wow. Martin Wagon, I like it. Barry Ferguson was a decent player at one point as well, wasn't he? I remember him going to Blackburn. Never quite worked out for him at Blackburn, but he was a top player at Rangers. Captain as well, wasn't he? Pedro Mendes too. Everyone seems to remember Pedro Mendes for two things. One, him getting absolutely smashed by Ben Thatcher at Manchester City. What an absolutely horrendous tackle that was. It wasn't even a tackle. That was assault. That was assault from Ben Thatcher. Just absolutely flew in with his elbow and cleared Pedro Mendes out. And then the other thing that Pedro Mendes is remembered for is the long distance halfway line goal against Manchester United where Roy Carroll catches it and it goes in over his shoulder. And it never got given because no goal line technology back in them days, no VAR. MC, is La Liga 2 lower standard than the Championship? No, I don't think so. I mean, I think maybe it's just the number of internationals that they have. Ryan Shawcross's tackle against Aaron Ramsey. Ramsey was assault. Behave yourself. It always brings it back to Arsenal. Absolutely shitted it down in the England under 21 game. It's England. Is it Ireland? England under 21s against Ireland under 21s. Tricky, do you prefer a bearded Klopp or a bald Slot? I don't really mind. Yeah, I prefer Slot over Klopp in terms of who would I want managing my team right now. But Klopp is has absolutely the better legacy and will have the better, or is the better manager at least. Gelato, would you take Rodrigo for Wirtz if Madrid came? No, absolutely not. Shawcross broke Ramsey's leg key. Yeah, no, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was that bad of a tackle. Sometimes they're just mistimed. I'm talking about intent here. Chance for unlucky. Valladolid very nearly going 1-1 here. It's gone out for it's going to be a corner. Yep, corner. Approaching half time. Yeah, sometimes it's just, bad timing. Hey, apparently James Garner, Newcastle United are looking at James Garner of Everton. I thought that was a really interesting transfer rumour from the past week. Newcastle interested in James Garner at Everton. Does that... I don't know if Newcastle fans would be at all excited by that, to be honest. I'm not saying James Garner's a bad player, because he's not. He's alright, isn't he? But he's only alright. I don't feel like he's a player that transforms Newcastle into a regular Champions League. He's not Elliot Anderson, is he? He's not that player. He's had actually a half decent start to the season for Everton. And Everton played... How much did Everton pay for James Garner? Was it nearly 20 million, something like that? How much would they want for him? I'll be honest, I don't think Everton fans are mad keen on James Garner. They're putting him right back. If James Garner if Everton had a proper right back, James Garner wouldn't even start for Everton. He'd be on the bench. And that's Everton. So why are Newcastle going, all over the place to try and sign him? That'd be baffling, to be honest. Reece, do Newcastle really need any more midfielders? I mean, Jacob Ramsey hasn't quite worked out for him, has he? I mean, Lewis Miley's a young player. He needs games. He needs time. You've got Joe Linton. Willock doesn't really do... I just don't feel like, Newcastle probably don't need any more midfielders, do they? D, I wouldn't want James Garner at us, to be honest. I'm just commenting on the rumour. Mike, who we watching today, pal? Right up there, Mike. Right up there. Answer, even at 36, Garner is one of the best midfielders this season. We're on about James Garner. Yeah, James Garner. I would agree with you about Idrissa Gana-Gueye. Idrissa Gana-Gueye is a very, very talented player. Like him a lot, but he can't go on forever, obviously, can he? But yeah, we're on about James Garner and Newcastle being linked with a move for him, and I was a bit baffled by that. I didn't really understand why Newcastle would want James Garner. Like I said, Everton are playing him at right back, and if Everton have a right back, James Garner doesn't even start for Everton, and that's Everton, not Newcastle, who aspire to be in the Champions League and compete for the highest honours. James Garner doesn't start for Newcastle, so given Everton paid 20, 25 million, whatever it was for him, doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, that move, because I don't think Newcastle will pay... Would it be good value? If Newcastle signed him for 30 million, let's say, assuming Everton would let him go for 30 million, is that good value? Would Newcastle fans be happy with that? 30 million for James Garner? I wouldn't be, if I was in their position. Joe, how does well with them sort of players, though? English from mid-table clubs, Wilson, Gordon, Byrne, would be open to Garner. I know, but does he really revolutionise him? Does he really kick Newcastle on? Again, I think about the price. That's the big sort of stumbling block for me. Because there's got to be a tipping point, hasn't there, where James Garner to Newcastle doesn't really make sense for Everton to sell him, and it doesn't make sense for Newcastle to pay that much. Like, if you're going to go into the £40 million region for James Garner, you've blown it. You've absolutely lost your marbles. At that point, you have to be looking at top quality midfielders. James Garner isn't that. He's a versatile utility player. He's plugging in at right back for Everton. He gets about the pitch, but the quality on the ball isn't often there. He's just a very decent midfielder. Do you know what he reminds me of a little bit? Like a Tom Cleverley. Again, another one out of the United Academy who also played for Everton, funnily enough. He reminds me of that sort of a player. It's he's a hard-working midfielder, dogged, good in the tackle. Maybe not a player that I would associate with a Champions League team anyway. Reece, I can see this England game getting abandoned due to a waterlogged pitch. Bloody hell. And MC, I'm guessing Championship has Irish, Welsh, Scots, but Spain, Italy, Portugal players wouldn't be in the second division. That's true, yeah. Thomas Roberts, how's it going, Thomas? Shell, not having him. Jimmy Garner is ours. He's boss, and yes, he would start. James Garner would start for Newcastle. You think James Garner would start ahead of Joe Linton, Tonali, or Bruno at Newcastle? Come on, Shell. Come on, Shell. Shell says Jimmy Garner's a left back, right back, and a midfielder. He's not going anywhere. And I agree. I don't think he is going anywhere either. I think he stays at Everton because it's kind of the same as Iliman and Dye. I think Iliman and Dye stays at Everton because no one will pay the sort of money that you will demand for him. He's not worth it. The same as Garner isn't. Garner, you would want 40 million to sell Garner, and he isn't a £40 million player, is he? MC says Garner would push Joe Linton for the place. Is Garner better than Ramsey? Garner's not better than Ramsey. They've just signed Ramsey. He's not better than him. He's probably better than Willock. Shell, oh, not for Newcastle, for us. Oh, well, hang on a minute. Who does he start for over you? If everyone's fit, if everyone's fit and Everton have got a right back, James Garner doesn't start. He's a midfielder. You would have Garner Gay and Dewsbury Hall with Iliman and Dye, Grealish and Diblin or Alcaraz in front. I don't think James Garner starts for Everton. If everyone's fit anyway and you've got a right back. Joe says, I think we'll get Keys Smith. If you get Keys Smith, that's a better signing. That's one that pushes Willock out. You know, Keys Smith's a very talented young player. And MC is Coleman still Everton's best right back. Yeah, he is, and that's what's frustrated Everton fans, isn't it? Every single Evertonian I spoke to has said, we needed a right back, and they've gone and paid 40 odd million for Tyler Diblin, and they've not played him. You know, they've not spent well this summer in that sense, Everton. I think if all they needed was a right back, that was like their number one priority in many cases, and they just haven't got it. Patterson doesn't want to get a kick. They're playing Jake O'Brien out of position there. They're playing Garner there out of position. Thomas, Grealish has played brilliantly this season. Do you agree? Yeah. For most of the early part of the season, I think so. Maybe in the last few, he's been a little bit lacking. Yeah, there's certainly been some comments that I've heard from Evertonians who haven't maybe been as pleased with him in the last few. Patterson injured. I know, but if Patterson was fit, you think Patterson would be starting, Shell? I don't think Patterson starts for Everton. Like, he to be honest, he had that whole fallout with Dyche, didn't he, where he hit him round the head or whatever. And again, yeah, Nathan Patterson just isn't really fancied, I think. MC, I don't think they need a right back. Coleman back fit, played great for Ireland. O'Brien can cover. No, O'Brien's a centre back though. They need a proper right back. Coleman's like 30. What is he? 37, 38, whatever. He's getting on. You need a right. Coleman should be the backup for Everton. Now he might well be a very, very good right back, but he was a very good right back. But he can't play. He came on and went off the other week, didn't he, Coleman? I feel like they've kept Coleman around because he's a wonderful man to have around the dressing room, less about his ability. He's still a very good right back and was, Premier League legend, absolutely not knocking that. But he's getting on, isn't he? They need a right back. And Reece, seen the media have an absolute meltdown over Foden's 5-yard pass the other night. Yeah, we was talking about that. MC O'Brien can play right back very well, has done for Ireland. That is Everton's right back. But he's not a right back, he's a centre back, isn't he? That's the problem. That's what Everton fans are yearning for, is a right back who can get up and down the touchline. He's not that. Jake O'Brien is a player who will do a job for you at right back. He's not a right back. He's someone you put there if you need him to. or if you've got a particularly tall winger. Maybe it's a strategic thing, but it's definitely... Everton are crying out for a right-back, especially when the modern game is very much about, full-backs bombing on. Jake O'Brien's not that. Jake O'Brien don't get up and down the pitch. And it kills Illiman and Dye as well on that right-hand side. Illiman and Dye gets isolated. He very rarely gets forward enough. Las Palmas chance, good save, unlucky, nearly 2-0. Jay Fitzpatrick, not going to lie, James Garner is overrated. Is he? Is he overrated? I don't think he's overrated or underrated, to be honest. I don't think anyone... And nobody, to me, in my knowledge anyway, spoke about James Garner at all until this past week when Newcastle were linked with him. And then I was a bit like, why are Newcastle targeting it? That's such a weird signing. That is a baffling signing. MC, he can play both, get up and down, and is a unit. Well, Everton fans disagree. Believe me, Everton fans, if you ask any Evertonian what position do they need to strengthen the most, I mean, centre-forward might be a conversation too, but right-back is right up there. Right-back is absolutely right up there. Every Evertonian would tell you that. And that's not a dig at Jake O'Brien, because, by the way, Jake O'Brien, I like. He's a talented player, but he's a centre-back, isn't he? He's not a right-back. In an ideal world, I think Evertonians would love Jared Branthwaite and Jake O'Brien at centre-back and then a proper right-back on that side. They're not going to get that with... They've got Garner there and they've got Jake O'Brien kind of foisted out. It's not what they want to do. It's not that... That's not what they want, and it's even more baffling that Moyes has chosen that system. Thomas Roberts, they need a young right back like Dorgu. Dorgu's a left back. Shell, yeah, centre forward and right back for Everton. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But you need to get rid of one centre forward at least, don't you? You're not gonna sign a centre forward while Beto's still at the club, and I think you've invested too much into Erno Barry to kind of throw that one away. Blake, full-back, some pace, and a number 9 the Ev need. But do you know what? Bizarrely, that is also what Everton fans said in the summer. Before the summer started, they said we need some pace in wide areas. We're desperate for pace in wide areas. Absolutely desperate for it. We're too slow on the counter-attack. We need pace in wide areas. And we need full-backs. And we need someone who can put the ball in the net because Beto just ain't doing it. What happens? Start of the season. Yes, they signed Tierno Barry, but they end up putting Beto up front anyway. End up putting Beto, starting him at centre-forward, same as last season. And they end up still having Jake O'Brien at right-back, same as last season. They've signed Tyler Diblin, he ain't playing. It's mad. It's crazy. The one player they have signed with pace, they're not playing him. Reece, thoughts on Harry Kane to Barca? I think it happens, and I like it as well. I rate that. I very much rate that. MC says, don't think anyone has ever thought about James Garner enough to over or underrate him. And Thomas, why are you speaking about Everton when you're a Liverpool fan? Well, Thomas, you can speak about all clubs. We've just been speaking about Newcastle, haven't we? Speak about Newcastle, speak about Everton. We're watching Las Palmas. We're watching Real Valladolid. We're watching the La Liga 2. On this channel, we talk about everything and anything. So just because you're a Liverpool fan don't mean you only talk about Liverpool. I'm sure that's the case for you, whoever you support. Blake Keano has been a stalwart for the Toffees. It's half-time here in Spain. Las Palmas looking like fair value for the win, it's got to be said. I think they've been the better side. Fully deserved to be in front. And, yeah, it's going to be a good second half this now, I think. LG with Tomiyasu suit Everton. He's got to get fit. I don't think so. I think Tomiyasu probably ends up... I think he's had too many injuries to this point now where he's not really getting in the side. He can't really be relied on. That's why Arteta signed the players that he did. So, yeah, no, I don't think Tomiyasu isn't. He might well be an Everton signing, but I think if Everton are looking for a right back and a right back that really drives on and a right back that can get forward and support the attack, Tomiyasu ain't that. Shell, I think Beto will go on a striker in January. Where's Beto going though? Who's going to sign Beto? I don't feel like there's not an obvious place for Beto. And again, 25 million quid you paid for him, so I don't think Everton are going to be willing to just let him go, like that. But I don't see an obvious club coming in and paying 15, 20 million for Beto. Shell, we were looking at Kenny Tete before he re-signed for Fulham. Yes, I was going to say, I remember that happening in the summer. Very close to signing Kenny Tete. He's not a bad... But again, he doesn't really feel... He probably would have come in and been your starting right back, wouldn't he? Shell, back to Italy. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. You need to find a buyer for him. Blake Keano's been a stalwart for the Toffees. He has, and he's done very well, hasn't he, this season? Michael Keane's been incredible this season for him. Blake Griffin, Las Palmas, a proper yo-yo club. They're like the Spanish Burnley, aren't they? LG, what club needs a striker? Every club, really. Most clubs in the Premier League, but Everton more so than most, it feels like, because the fans look at Grealish and Illiman and Die and they see chances being created and then not put away. I can understand the frustration. Jake, where is Tomiyasu now? Not seen him for 2 years. Is he a free agent? Have they let him go? I thought he was still at Arsenal. Oh no, he's not. Yeah, he left Arsenal in the summer. For some reason, I thought he was still. At Arsenal. Yeah, he's been a free agent since July 2025, which was like 5 months ago. He's still not found a club, and he's only 27 as well. It's a shame that, isn't it? Because he was a decent player, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe no one wants to take a chance. MC, I think Coleman's in the bracket with Azpilicueta, Walker, behind Robertson, Everett, Cole, Irwin. That's odd. I mean, you've gone left hand side there. Robertson, Everett, Cole, Irwin, all left backs. If we're talking the greatest Premier League right backs, where does Seamus Coleman rank in terms of the greatest Premier League right backs? If you were to name, is he top 10? Is he top 20? Because if I'm naming top Premier League right backs, I think there's some that are like non-negotiables, aren't there? There's Gary Neville's and Trent Alexander-Arnold's. I think Azpilicueta as well would be for me. I think Ivanovic would be for me. I'm trying to think who else we would maybe put at right backs. The greatest Premier League, Lauren maybe at Arsenal. Lauren was a very good right back. Any other standouts? I think you probably would have to put, after a while, you'd have to think maybe Kyle Walker, obviously, Kyle Walker, of course. So yeah, I think Seamus Coleman probably is top 10, isn't he? Kyle Walker, Gary Neville, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Lauren, Ivanovic, Azpilicueta. Yeah, probably is top 10. Shell, top 5 for 60 grand. He's not top 5. He's not top 5, Shell. Come on. There's 5 better. There's definitely 5 better than Seamus Coleman, isn't there? I think you'd say Kyle Walker, Trent, Gary Neville as an absolute minimum. I don't think he's not better than Ivanovic, is he? He's not better than Azpilicueta, Ivanovic and Lauren. No, I can't see him being better than them. What are we saying? Everton should sign Givaro, Reid from Feyenoord or Wesley from Roma. Good options at right back. Well, Roma, obviously a club that Everton have got a little bit of an affinity with, obviously through the owners. So maybe. And Jake, how are Croatia drawing to a random country? They're not drawing to a random country. Is it the Faroe Islands? Is that who they're playing? Croatia. MC, not talking right back, just full backs in general. Didn't realise I had gone right back v left back, to be honest. I think if we're talking left backs, he's not. If you're talking just general Premier League full backs, Seamus Coleman doesn't rank in the top 10 of Premier League full backs. No chance at all. He's not top 10 Premier League full-backs. Maybe right-backs. He probably is top 10 of all-time Premier League right-backs. But not top 10 left-backs and right-backs. Because then you're getting into Ashley Cole, Andy Robertson, Dennis Irwin, Patrice Evra. There's 4 just on that side there. You could go even... Yeah, you could go bigger than that. I think there's... I thought Cancelo was really good. Unlucky. Trippier, behave yourself. Trippier's not better than Coleman. Seamus Coleman's definitely better than Kieran Trippier. Jake, I've heard about that country. And Blake, no way Andy Robertson makes that list. Andy Robertson's better than Seamus Coleman. Come on. He's like the all-time Premier League assists for a right-back. It's Leighton Baines as well. Leighton Baines is a better full-back than Seamus Coleman. If you could only choose one... Here, Shell, help us decide, because you're an Evertonian. If you could only choose one for your side, Shell, Leighton Baines or Seamus Coleman, who would you pick? Who's the better full-back? Because I think it's Leighton Baines comfortably. But Seamus Coleman's a very good player. I like him too. Jack Shaw, Trippier better than Coleman. Zabaleta too, absolutely, yeah. Zabaleta's another good shout. Forget about Zabaleta so often. Good player, very good player. MC, Coleman in the top 10 fullbacks. Remember he broke his leg against Wales at his prime. Yeah, but you can't have that just because he broke his leg. You can't have that. You can't account for that. Plenty of players break the leg. You can't say, oh well, look at what he would have been. And use that as a leap to put him in the top 10. He's not a top 10 Premier League fullback. He just isn't. I think if we're talking left backs and right backs, Coleman doesn't get in the top 10, but he's still brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Leighton Baines was terrific. Yeah. Coleman's better than Lauren, I would agree with that. And Jack Shaw, what's Coleman won? Trippier's won a La Liga and a Carabao Cup. I know, but look, again, with Kieran Trippier, winning things doesn't necessarily mean you're a good player, does it? Come on, you know that, Jack. Winning things does not necessarily make you a good player. There's plenty of players who've won loads, and there's plenty of players who've won, plenty of really, really average players who've won loads, and plenty of really good players who won very little. You know, you think about players like Francesco Totti. Even Steven Gerrard never won a Premier League title. And of course you're going to mention that. But Gerrard not winning a title. Totti not winning very much. There's loads of great players who didn't win an awful lot because they maybe stayed loyal to one club for maybe longer than they should have done. Alan Shearer didn't win a great amount, did he? Think about Alan Shearer, one of the greatest centre-forwards of our generation. He won a league title at Blackburn. Other than that, bugger all, really. Because he chose to go to Newcastle. Eric Cantona. Man United fans call him King Eric. Never won a Champions League. And yet Jimmy Traore has one. Go figure. Jake Fitzpatrick, Harry Kane hasn't won a lot in his career as well. Again, very true. Most would say Harry Kane, one of the best centre-forwards of our generation. Didn't win a sausage at Spurs, did he really? But goes to Bayern, starts to lift some trophies. I don't think that makes him any better a player. It just means that he's in a better team now. There's a lot of average players who've got Champions League winners' medals and Premier League winners' medals. Doesn't make them better. You can't use that as a springboard to say that they're better. Taylor, evening key, how come you picked Spanish second division to watch tonight? Because it was the best club football on. And club football, for me, is better than international football. Shell says Slovakia v Northern Ireland still 0-0, nearly half time. Well, let's have a look around the grounds. Yeah, what else have we got going on tonight? Because we've got in the Euro Coupe de France, Grenoble are winning. I've got that, that's good. Under 21s, Poland beat Italy, that's great. Austria beat Belgium, great. Turkey beat Ukraine. France and Switzerland drew. In the World Cup qualifying, Croatia won, Faroe Islands won, Gibraltar won, Montenegro 2. Luxembourg and Germany is 0-0 at half-time. What is going on in the world? And Poland won, Netherlands 0. I tell you what, I have absolutely no idea what's going on in football anymore. Clearly. I ain't got a clue. Germany 0, Luxembourg 0. Come on. Alex, are you watching Sweden tomorrow? No, mate, I'm not. Blake, sadly, Gerrard not winning a league title is a stain on his career, and that's why Kane went to Bayern. I don't think it is. I don't think it's a stain on his career. I think he stayed at the club that he loved far too long. In terms of trophies, he prioritised being a Liverpool legend over a Premier League title. If Gerrard had left, any number of times, Gerrard had Real Madrid knocking on his door every other season. He had Man United knocking on his door. He had Chelsea knocking on his door. He always turned them down. He could have gone anywhere. He had his pick of teams, and Gerrard said no. And I think you could have said that about Totti as well, to be honest. Plenty of players like that who choose to stay with the clubs that they're loyal to, and you know what, you've got to value them as well. So I don't think it's a stain on his career at all. Ted Starr, Gary Neville and Ashley Cole are the best right back, left back of all time in the Prem, in my opinion. Not bad shouts, yeah. I'd possibly agree with that. I think Trent is better than Gary Neville, but I would probably agree with Ashley Cole. Philippines Verts has been absolutely dreadful. David Massey, how you doing, bud? I'm good, mate. How are you? Good to see you. And LG, are you doing any other matches than just Salford tomorrow? Yes, I'm doing Greece against Scotland. I think that's the plan anyway. Greece, Scotland, 7:45. So I'm probably going to do that one tomorrow night. I'll see. I'm not sure as yet. But certainly I'm doing the MK Dons against Salford game tomorrow, because that's going to be a really good one. So I'll be watching that. And then I'm doing, on Sunday, we're doing the Argentinian League. I'm doing Vélez Sarsfield against River Plate. That's another new league. I'm on course for 600 games this year. 600 live watch-alongs this year, across more than 40 different leagues and competitions. So, in terms of volume of live watch-alongs and live games, I've given you your money's worth this year. I'm going to try and top it next year. But certainly, this year, we're on course for 600, and this is a new league we're doing on Sunday. Vélez Sarsfield against River Plate. LG, I looked on the schedule on YouTube. It says you're just doing Salford tomorrow. Yeah, up to now, that is true, yeah. But I can always schedule more in. I just wait and see to see kind of what happens. But, up to now, that's the only one I'm doing. But I could do the other one as well. Are you doing England, Albania? Do you know what? I've not looked ahead in terms of the schedule. We're nearly up for the second half here now. One sec. So, Saturday and Sunday are pretty much accounted for. Sunday, there's not really an awful lot going on Sunday, apart from Albania, England, and then Vélez Sarsfield, River Plate. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to do the England game. I'm going to leave the England game, and I'm going to do Vélez Sarsfield, River Plate, because England have already qualified, and I don't feel like it's a... Yeah, no, I'm not going to do Albania. I'm not doing Albania, England. I'm going to do Vélez Sarsfield, River Plate, and then Monday night, I'm doing Northern Ireland against Luxembourg. Tuesday night, I'm doing Scotland against Denmark. Should we? No. Do you know what? No. Tuesday night, I'm doing Morecambe against Brackley Town. Balls to Scotland and Denmark. I'm going to do Morecambe against Brackley Town. And then Wednesday's a difficult one. MC, if Coleman was English, he would have got to move to one of the big teams and there'd be no debate on top 10. Well, do you know what? I don't necessarily think it was nationality that prevented Coleman getting a move. I think Seamus Coleman, at his absolute peak for Everton, was brilliant, but he wasn't so brilliant that he would have ever pushed for a move or got a move to a top 4 club. You know, I think if you look at like Liverpool at the same time, Liverpool would never have signed him because of the Everton factor. But Liverpool had Glenn Johnson. United, or City had Zabaleta, didn't they? United had, if you go back even further, when would we say Coleman's peak was? Manchester United still had Gary Neville, didn't they? And they had Wes Brown, John O'Shea kind of lingering on that right-hand side, so they didn't really need a right-back. Yeah. Seamus Coleman definitely could have played at a higher level. I'm not knocking that, by the way. He was certainly capable of playing at a higher level. But I don't think the reason that he didn't get the big move was his nationality. So, right, we're off for the second half here now. Valladolid 0, Las Palmas 1. Las Palmas, unbeaten in the last 6 away. Best defence in the whole of the division. Only 8 goals conceded all season. They're much, much better. The top of the league as it stands. And look primed to come back up to La Liga next year. Jake Fitzpatrick, what matches are you doing next Saturday? Next Saturday, Burnley against Chelsea is the early kickoff, 12:30. I have not looked at the 3 p.m s. Let's have a look at the 3 p.m. kickoffs. BBC Football. Early kickoffs, November the 22nd, 3 o'clock. Oh, here we go, 3 o'clock kickoff. Oh, it's Liverpool Forest, isn't it? Oh, Liverpool Forest, there you go. So, yeah, we'll be doing Burnley Chelsea, then we'll do Liverpool Forest, and then it'll be Newcastle against Man City. So, there you go. They're the 3 games that I'm doing next Saturday. LG, do you think Szoboszlai is our future Liverpool captain? He certainly could be, couldn't he? He's got the ability to be, and he strikes me as that type of player, but I don't know. Still the players who you'd maybe have in and around the side who could step up. I'd like to see Curtis Jones get more time at Liverpool, and yeah, I'd like maybe someone like that as well getting the armband. It depends. You never know what they're like in the dressing room. You know, for all we know, Szoboszlai might be an absolute prick. I don't think he is, but he might be. He might be a player who gets the players' respect by how hard he works and what a player he is. But actually, I don't know, if they don't take to him in the dressing room, then I don't know. You never know. Sometimes that's what captains are picked on. They've got to be a staple of the first team, but also they've got to kind of command the respect of the players in the changing room, and we don't know. Sometimes there's players who are a better fit for that, and you just don't really see it. Like Alexis McAllister could do. Alexis McAllister might be the one. Demir, Germany struggling against Luxembourg. Who would have thought that? Taylor, Peterborough v Stockport County. What about it? Pope says Celtic 0, Aberdeen 4. Oh, God. Unlucky, this is better from Las Palmas. You like it? LG, are you doing the lineup game today? Maybe, possibly, we'll see. And MC, United were about to sign him, then he broke his leg against Wales. Don't know how true that is. That United were about to sign him. I could be wrong. Yeah, he was linked. He was linked with a move to Manchester United so heavily that bookies sought to cut the odds right down because there was loads of people putting money on it. But Coleman just laughed and said it's that time of year. Yeah, do you know what? No, I don't think he ever really suited Manchester United. He might have gone to United. The only time Coleman would have gone to United is when Moyes was manager there. Alex, how's the weather where you are? Pissing it down in shorts. And Demir, he's really good on the ball. I like how he commands the game. Basically, McAllister 24-25. I like Curtis Jones' play style. I'd like to see Jones grab centre defensive midfielder, Sobbo in attacking midfield, and Flo on the left. Maybe that's what'll happen. Jake, Germany after 2014 when they won the World Cup has fallen off. And Alex, Leighton Baines was a good player. He was unreal, yeah. Strike! Oh, nearly 1-1. Horkas is not very happy at his defence there. Didn't close down Chuki. And Chuki very nearly putting him 1-1. Taylor, going to go now. Have a good rest of your evening, mate. You too. Yeah, take it easy, Taylor. Have a good one. Where's my hero, Big Dunk, when you need him? Probably off chasing pigeons, Shell. Come on, Forest. Who've Everton got next weekend, actually? We need to have a look and see what Everton's fixtures look like. I assume it's on the Sunday Everton are playing, are they? Sunday is Leeds Villa and Arsenal Spurs. Ooh, that could be a good game. Come on, Spurs. Yeah, so Everton. Who've Everton got? Everton are... must be on the Sunday. Oh, it's Monday Night Football, isn't it, against United? It's Monday Night Football. They're playing United. I forgot about that. We'll have to watch United Monday Night Footy. Yeah, Everton United. What a game that's going to be. Blake says Sir Alex Ferguson used to pinch players from the rest of the league. He did. Yeah, he did. But I'm not sure Seamus Coleman would have been top of his priority list at the time when he was leaving. I think David Moyes might have signed him when he went in. Because Moyes obviously tried to sign Baines as well. Alex, do you think England will win the World Cup? Can't see it myself. No, not at all. Demir, I heard that players' wages are paid by clubs when it's the international break. Is that true? Yes. Yes, the players are paid in the same way. They're paid over the international break as well. Jake, what do you think about the Ronaldo red last night? I haven't seen it. Reece, Fergie used to love to pinch Arsenal players from us. He did. He got a fair few, didn't he? Did all right with Arsenal players as well. To be honest, you took a few from United as well. I thought Welbeck. You never should have sold Welbeck, but you took all the dross from United as well, didn't you? Have for a spell you signed like Mikel Silvestre and Henrik Mkhitaryan and players like that. Arsenal always tended to get the short end of the straw with United Arsenal transfers. You got Mkhitaryan and you got Mikel Silvestre, and they got I know Alexis Sanchez didn't end up to be the signing they thought he was, but they got Alexis Sanchez, they got Robin Van Persie. And the one you should have kept, Danny Welbeck, he sold. Madness. Absolute madness. MC, Seamus Coleman's prime was after Fergie or Moyes' time at United. I know, but after Fergie and Moyes' time, that's what I'm saying. There was Louis van Gaal, he wasn't going to sign him. Mourinho, he wasn't going to sign him. I'm not sure Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have signed him. Didn't fit the profile of a Man United signing, Seamus Coleman. I don't think he ever would have been a signing for anyone other than David Moyes at Man United. Heath says, do you think Xavi Simons will flop or will he be a legend? I think he'll probably be somewhere in between, mate. I think he's possibly just going to be a very decent player for Tottenham, but it'll take him a little bit of time to adapt. And Demir, if Everton wins, I'm mad. If Man United wins, I'm mad. If they draw, I'm mad. Can't they not play? Oh, no, mate, that's absolutely what you want. The Everton and United games are fantastic. Do you know why? Because at least one of them is going to be annoyed. It's brilliant. At least one of the two teams is going to be annoyed after that. Either United are going to be furious that they've lost at Old Trafford. Everton are going to be furious that, again, they've gone to Old Trafford and got their arse handed to them, because they do that every other season. Or it's going to be a draw and they're both going to be feeling a bit crappy. Oh, nearly 1-1. Peter again at the far post. He's had so many chances tonight, Peter. Oh, lucky. Reece, we took Welbeck and made him the top 3 English strikers of all time and then sold him. Jake, it was an elbow to the face. Joe Mkhitaryan was class, proper cult hero. And Heath, Kudus or Saka? Oh, it's Saka, come on. Yeah, Kudus ain't better than Saka. Blake, Liverpool just wasn't competitive at all during Fergie's era. We had 2 years, 2 seasons in the whole of Fergie's era. Well, actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. 3, maybe 4, actually, where we finished in and around the top teams, the top 2. We were involved in about 4 title races with Fergie. We was involved in the title race with Newcastle and United in 95, 96, and then we kind of fell away at the end. We was involved in a title race with Man United in 2007, 8 or whatever it was, when we had Torres. And again, too many draws for us, cost us. We went to United, battered them 4-1. I firmly believe we were the better team that season, but then we just, again, too many draws. That was a sign of Benitez negativity, going away to places like Middlesbrough and dropping points. That's what cost us in the league that year. But yeah, certainly 2001 as well. That wasn't even United we were competing with. We were competing with Arsenal that year. We finished second. We finished ahead of United that year. We won 5 trophies and finished second to Arsenal. Demir, I just pray for Man United, not for Man United to win. I don't know what they're smoking since they got Lamans. What do you mean you don't know what they're smoking? They've drawn with Forest and they've drawn with Spurs. Like, let's not dress it up to be anything that they're not. They were nearly lucky. They were lucky to get a point in either of them. They should have got beat in both games. Shell, Man United, Monday Night Football, so you will be supporting us Blues. And Barbecue Sauce 300, how come you're not watching the UEFA qualifiers? Because I enjoy club football and I like doing something a little bit different. So these games I really enjoy, mate. And yeah, it's something a little bit different. So I wanted to watch a big game in the Segunda Liga. I think one of these teams at least will be in La Liga next year. So I quite like the lower league games across Europe. The Bundesliga 2 is a really good league. If you ever get the chance to watch it, it's very entertaining. Leon Stedman, good to see you. And Blake never got close in 08-09. Fergie handed Benitez a lesson in mind games. A lesson in mind games? Come on, he didn't get a lesson in mind. That's not why Liverpool lost that title. Liverpool lost that title because we kept going to places like Middlesbrough and playing massively defensively, and Benitez kept doing things like taking Torres off when we needed a goal. He was mad for things like that, Benitez. He a bit like Pep, just like unnecessary, stupid changes. You know what I mean? Oh, chance! That's going to be a foul, surely. Yeah, that's a foul. I think it's going to get ruled out. It's going to get ruled out, I'm sure. Yeah, push in the back. The referees ruled it out. Valladolid scored there. It was a good goal from Andre. But he has pushed. He's pushed Las Palmas in the back. There's going to be a check, actually. Is there? There might be a check on this. Could be a 1-1. Could be a goal, but I don't think. No, he's not. He's ruled it out. He's surely ruled it out. Is it Mika Marmol who he shoves? Yeah, you're not getting. That's definitely a foul. Defo a foul. Demir, they've been in very good form. He's literally saving them, unlike Onana. 1-3 drawn 2. To be honest, the 3 that they've won, though, they've been very, very fortunate in at least one of them anyway. Leon, Kidderminster Harriers tomorrow. Nice. And Demir, Luxembourg, Germany, second half's just started. Come on, Germany. Sort it out. Demir Goretzka still playing for Germany. Is he really? I wouldn't have thought that. Joe, have you seen Karius this season? He's been insane for Schalke. That's kind of stands to reason, I guess. He leaves Liverpool, comes to Liverpool, has some sort of an episode and throws a Champions League final, cost us a Champions League final, and then goes and ends up being a half-decent keeper back in Germany. That's usually the case. Demir, have you... Oh, I don't see Kimmich, Pavlovic and Goretzka for Germany. Oh, that's a great touch from him. Oh, lucky. Really good turn. And they're in here now. Las Palmas. They could get a second. It's a poor ball and the keeper comes out and claims it. That's really poor. Very, very poor. Can't believe Poland are beating the Netherlands as well. I thought that'd be a pretty easy one. At the very least, I thought the Netherlands would get a draw. Hey, what do we think of this Sky Sports thing, by the way? Have we seen this Sky Sports Halo for women? Have you seen it? Honestly, that is an absolute PR disaster from Sky Sports. I couldn't believe it. Luxembourg 0, Germany 1. Voltamada with the goal. Joe's going to be happy with that. MC 0809, a better team, but 0102 was a better because Owen was on fire and Arsenal not as good as 98 or 04. Poland 1, Netherlands 1. There you go. Ask and you shall receive. Germany have gone in front. Netherlands are back level. Yeah, Voltamada with the goal, Sané with the assist, and Reece, an absolute howler from Sky Sports. It's shocking, hasn't it? It's absolutely shocking what Sky Sports have done. Crazy. Shell just seen 5.99. I'm a 5.99 now. I haven't seen. If you want to please take me to 6,000 subscribers, please do head over to YouTube. I'm very close to 6,000 subs. So close. I don't want to celebrate it just yet. Demir, have you seen the nonsense transfer proposal? Rodrigo for Wirtz. Apparently both clubs open. No, I don't think that's the case. I would be amazed if Liverpool sanctioned any deal like that, to be honest. Wirtz is a very good player, don't get me wrong, but that just seems like scurrilous transfer rumours. It seems like the press getting 2-2 and making 5. Because they've looked at it and gone, oh, Xabi Alonso's the Real Madrid manager. You know, I'm sure he would like Florian Wirtz. He wanted him in the summer. Florian Wirtz said no to Real Madrid. So I'm sure maybe he'd now be open to going. And Liverpool, they need a right winger because Salah's kind of... He's not quite performing as he was last season, so they need a right winger, and Rodrigo would be a really good option. So maybe Rodrigo to Liverpool and Wirtz to Real Madrid. It's just lazy, isn't it? It's lazy. I don't think anyone at Liverpool or Real Madrid have made that connection, to be honest, but obviously some stupid journalist has. Demirs, no, it's a Madrid rumour, same way they got trend by putting pressure on players on that medium. And Reece Sky have done that, and they have a female on the weekend show with the most ball knowledge out of anyone. Yeah. To be honest, there's been some Sky Sports female pundits who've come out in response to this news and said what an absolutely horrific idea it was. They've literally boiled down women's football to, like, you know, Matcha and Kim Kardashian and all, you know, that sort of stuff. Like, it's properly sexist, like mega sexist what they've done. And I don't understand why it seems like a decision that's been made by 3 or 4 old blokes on a boozy lunch hour going like, you know, how can we get these women bought into football? How can we appear more diverse and equal? I know. Let's make Sky Sports women. And we'll have adverts about nails and you know, kitchenware and all this stuff. Like, the most stereotypical nonsense you can possibly think of. Reese, the new TikTok page is definitely run by Joey Barton. Well, he said he's taking a break from social media, doesn't he, Joey Barton? Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's running Sky Sports Halo. That would be a turn up for the books. Joey Barton's community service. He's supporting women in football with Sky Sports Halo. Goal offside for Slovakia. MC, ever met Barton round Liverpool? I can't say that I have, mate, no. To be honest, I don't really go out. I don't really go out round Liverpool and stuff like that, because or Manchester, really. Because of the epilepsy and stuff, so I can't really go out and be out till all hours. Drinking, and that lifestyle's never really been me. I've done a few nights, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of few and far between, so I very rarely would see him in that. So, but he's from Widnes, isn't he? He lives in Widnes, so I'm probably more likely to bump into him at a B&Q or something than I am a night out round Liverpool. Not sure why B&Q. I don't know if he frequents B&Q. Reese says first TikTok post featuring Kenny Aluko. Yeah, and Jeremy Vine, just for gigs, shits and gigs. Do you know what I was asked before? Here's a question. Name a player from your club, or just a Premier League player in general, where their expectation was like that, but their actual performance massively exceeded. Let's just say that. Name a player from the Premier League who massively exceeded their expectations in terms of performance, right? And Liverpool fans were asked about this, and we unanimously pretty much said Joel Matip. Joel Matip we signed on a free. I don't think anyone really expected an awful lot. He was kind of not necessarily rated mega highly in Germany, but he came in and ended up being one of our best ever centre-backs. Sammy Huppier, you could say the same, another centre-back who was signed for very, very little, came into Liverpool, unbelievable player. But give me some others who maybe the expectation was not that high, but they came in and they were unbelievable. Give me some other Premier League players who kind of fit that profile. MC, don't mean night out, just in general, like a B&Q. No, I can't say I have. Joe Voltemada, he wasn't expected to have this start. And I mean, 70 million quid, mate. You can't say that. Surely the expectations have not been exceeded massively. MC, Jordan Henderson, for Liverpool or for Brentford? Maybe for Brentford. I think for Brentford, Jordan Henderson would qualify, wouldn't he? Swifty, England under 21s is more boring than the game last night. David Raya for Reese. Clark, he says Johnny Evans for Sunderland or for Man United. Swifty, Chris Samba. Christopher Samba, yeah. For Blackburn or for QPR? I'm guessing for Blackburn he was really good, wasn't he? MC, was there a huge expectation around Firmino? I think because of the price tag, yeah. He was a player who, certainly in his first season, again, this is why the criticism of Vert is crazy, because Bobby Firmino in his first season was pretty rubbish. He ended up foisted out onto the wing. I think with Brendan Rodgers, he didn't really know how to use him, and then Klopp came in and kind of got a real tune out of him. But certainly in his first season, he didn't really do very well. But we paid 30 million for him. He was a big signing. So the expectations for a Brazilian player coming in at 30 million quid, we were about to sell Benteke, I think. Benteke hadn't really worked out. I think, yeah, the expectations were pretty high for him. I think certainly he exceeded them. But I'm talking specifically about players who maybe came in on a free or came in kind of under the radar and they were just expected to be squad players. But they came in and ended up being unbelievable. Give me some for your club. Who would that be? Mikel Merino is a very good shout. Yeah, Mikel Merino is a great shout. Who else would we say? Risa. John Arne Risa's not bad, He came in from Monaco. I remember us signing Risa. Came in from Monaco. There wasn't an awful lot of expectation around him either. But yeah, he proved to be one of our best ever left-backs. Cost us a few big games as well, though, Reece. He was a good player, but defensively he was a bit of a nightmare at times as well. But he had a great strike on him. Endo, yeah, not a bad shout. Wataru Endo's not a bad shout, Jake. Shell, bedtime for me. Sleep well. Good night, Shell. Take it easy. We'll see you soon, hopefully. Yeah, Reece wasn't a bad shout. Keeper's been absolutely battered in the face there. I think that might be it's not going to be a red card. Reece, Wanyeri or Lewis Skelly. Come on, they're not signings. You're not having that. Dawson, 1-1. No, it isn't 1-1, mate. It's still 1-0. Still 1-0. 15 minutes to go. Kante, Vardy and Mahrez. I think that's probably fair to say. Wes Morgan as well, you could say. Fred for Man United. Come on. He was dreadful. Demir, we need a Salah regen, and why are we linked to a 100 million transfer with a centre-back? We do need at least one centre-back though, don't we? Dawson, Jean Miclaud, 1-1. It isn't 1-1, mate. No, it isn't 1-1. It's still 1-0. Thomas, do you remember Veron, who played for Inter? He played for Inter? Yeah, I remember him when he played for Lazio and Parma and Man United before that as well. Veron for Inter, bloody hell, that's a throwback. And Chelsea as well. Swifty, Andy Robertson, of course. Andy Robertson, what a shout. Again, didn't even think of that one. James Milner probably as well for Liverpool, if I'm talking specifically Liverpool players. Yeah, we could do the opposite of this question as well. Players who came in with massive expectations and were shite, but everyone talks about them. But I thought it'd be good to look at the other end of the coin as well, you know, players who maybe didn't have an awful lot of expectations, but went on to become brilliant players. Leone and Gay, future of Liverpool. I don't think Gay would come to Liverpool now, or is it? I don't think he will come to Liverpool. Seamus Coleman, certainly. And Daniel Sturridge. I think, do you know what? I think the expectations with Sturridge were exceeded, but not by a massive amount. I think when we signed Daniel Sturridge, he was still thought of as like a top young English talent, and he wasn't being utilised correctly at Chelsea and Manchester City. You know, he came through at City and he was just brilliant there, and there was obviously expectations on him. He could be a real talent, so I think he was better than we thought. Of course, he was better than we thought. We definitely got a steal from Chelsea. He was for me, for one season or two, probably the best centre forward in the Premier League. With Luis Suarez, he was unbelievable. Salah, surely came in, nobody knew him and ended up becoming a legend. Nobody knew him. Been at Chelsea. Of course, no, people knew him. He'd been at Chelsea, he'd been at Roma, he'd been at Fiorentina. People knew who Mo Salah was. But I get the point. Yeah, he was. He certainly wasn't expected to do what he's done. But I don't think you can say a signing of 40 million quid, 35, 40 million quid. He's not. I can't say the expectations were low. Danny Welbeck for Arsenal's a good shot. Philip Coutinho is a brilliant shout, yeah. Life of Reece, will you be doing the AFCON? I am, mate. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the AFCON. Olivier Giroud, he was underrated for Arsenal. I thought he was underrated for Chelsea more so than Arsenal, but I agree. Yeah, he probably fit the profile. Crouch for Liverpool as well, you know. I think Peter Crouch is a player who definitely exceeded my expectations. Demir, why is everyone sleeping on Bobby Firmino? Literally got scouted by a guy playing Football Manager. What do you mean sleeping on him? What do you mean sleeping on him? You'll have to elaborate. Reece, France's top goal scorer is Giroud. I know, but he's not France's best centre forward. Again, that's always a little bit of a myth, that when you look at, like, Miroslav Klose is Germany's top scorer, isn't he, in World Cups? Miroslav Klose was a very decent centre forward, don't get me wrong, but he's not Gerd Muller. Aldo Lap, thank you very much for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Thank you. I am one step closer to 6,000 subscribers. If you want to go and help me out, or if you're on YouTube now and you haven't yet subscribed and you've been watching, I'm live every single day. Please do consider subscribing. It massively, massively helps me out. I'm so close to 6,000 subs. Demir, not mentioning best centre-forward for Liverpool to ever exist. Yeah, but he wouldn't meet the criteria, would he? He wouldn't be a player who was signed for low expectations. He was 30 million quid, mate. Las Palmas, oh, big save from the keeper. Huge save, that. Very nearly 2-0, that for Las Palmas. MC, some expectation around Alonso, but I don't think we thought we'd be selling to Madrid for big money. I think Luis Garcia as well at the same time. He came in as kind of a part X from Barcelona. They just kind of give us it wasn't a part X, but it was kind of like we don't really want him. He's not really doing an awful lot for us. He was brilliant. Jari Litmanen was a free. I loved Jari Litmanen. He was brilliant. Santi Cazorla for Arsenal, yeah. MC was going to say Garcia, but couldn't remember the details around the signing. Yeah, it was I think it was 6 million quid. I'm almost certain we paid 6 million for Luis Garcia, and it just didn't quite. I think people thought he would come in as like a squad player because he was just Benitez's Like Benitez came in and signed loads of Spanish players, didn't he? Like Alonso came in, Núñez came in, Josemi came in. There was a lot of Pellegrino came in as well. There was a lot of Spanish players who came in, or players from La Liga rather. Pellegrino was Argentinian, wasn't he? But there was a lot of Spanish players and players from La Liga who came in immediately in that first season with Benitez, and not many thought that they'd be much cop. But Luis Garcia was terrific. He was absolutely brilliant. Ian Rush from the Chester youth team, and MC Littmanen was a big name in Europe though. He was, yeah, and that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Samir Nasri, yeah, from Marseille. What a signing he was. Granit Xhaka for Sunderland, definitely. Jake Isak, nobody knew outside Spain, and he ended up joining us for 130 million. As in Isak to Newcastle. No, again, he was 60 million quid, and everyone knew Isak. Everyone knew Isak. 60 million quid, he was doing really well at Real Sociedad, and one of the best young players in La Liga. Yeah, I don't think you would... I'm not sure the expectations massively exceeded what Newcastle thought. They probably did exceed it, but not massively. And I think, obviously, at Liverpool, he's going to have to go some way. He's probably going to have to be our best centre-forward of all time to justify 130 million. Demir, did someone mention Joel Matip? Great shout. Yeah, we talked about Matip. He was the first one we mentioned. I think Matip and Sami Hyypiä for me. Andy Robertson as well. Probably they are the big ones for Liverpool, certainly. Coutinho probably as well. Scott McTominay to Napoli is a brilliant shout. I like that. Yeah, Scott McTominay to Napoli. Great shout. Demba Ba, Thomas Roberts. Good shout. Swifty says Vidic did a lot better than most expected. Yeah, Vidic from Spartak Moscow. Again, he was very close to signing for Liverpool as well, Nemanja Vidic. But yeah, he was brilliant as well for United. Drogba. Again, he played a massive fee. Didier Drogba was signed for a huge fee from Marseille. And he was a household name as well in Europe by that point. I remember Drogba knocking Liverpool out of Europe for Marseille. We was playing Marseille in I don't know if it was a Champions League or a UEFA Cup. I think it was UEFA Cup. We was playing Marseille, and he was absolutely brilliant that night. In fact, I'm almost certain, I could be wrong on this, but I'm almost certain that Jose Mourinho said that he watched him and he'd made his mind up because he'd watched him for Porto, and when he watched that game, Liverpool against Marseille, he knew that was the player wherever he was ending up, he wanted to sign Didier Drogba. So when he went to Chelsea, he was like, you can have any striker you want, Hernan Crespo, the best of the best, whoever you want. And he said, no, Didier Drogba from Marseille, that's who I want. And he got him, and the rest is history. But Drogba was sensational for Marseille. Gini Wijnaldum, yeah, 23 million from a relegated Newcastle. You could probably say the same for Everton. Idrissa Gana Gueye from Aston Villa. Idrissa Gana Gueye just got relegated from Aston Villa. Everton pick him up, ends up being one of the best defensive midfielders they've maybe ever had, and ends up going to PSG, winning a load there and coming back to Everton. So, yeah, Idrissa Gana Gueye I think would be one. And Gini Wijnaldum too. Thomas Roberts, do you believe Klopp will manage Liverpool again? Yes, I do think he will manage Liverpool again. I think he's probably the next Liverpool manager. But I don't think it happens for another couple of years. But I think he is the next Liverpool manager. I'm almost certain of that. He will maybe come back in and take the job on an interim basis. I don't think he comes back in and gets really stuck in heavily to it. I could be wrong. He's always said that he wants to retire as a manager very, very young. And he's done that, basically. So I don't really see Jurgen Klopp coming back in and taking Liverpool and managing them for another, 10 years or whatever. I think if he came in, it would be maybe Slot leaves mid-season. That's generally how managers go. They'll go mid-season, and we'll need a replacement to the end of the season, and Jurgen Klopp will come in and sort of plug a gap. So I think that's probably what happens with Liverpool next, is he will be the interim replacement while we're finding the long-term solution to Arne Slot. But I don't see it happening for another 2 to 3 years. Swifty, I remember watching Drogba for Marseille in Europe that season. He was frightening. Yeah, Voltemada scored again. MC, Hazard. Again, he was nearly 35 million. He was thought of as like the wonder kid in Europe at the time, wasn't he, at Lille? Would we say he exceeded expectations massively? I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe that's me underplaying it. Red card for the coach of Real Valladolid has just been sent off to the stands. Swifty, Robin Van Persie was pretty cheap, wasn't he? Yeah, from Feyenoord. Yeah. Demir, Dirk Kuyt, maybe. Yeah, Dirk Kuyt, I liked Dirk Kuyt a lot, but I think he came in with big expectations of being our star centre-forward, and we ended up shoving him out to right wing. He was still a fabulous player up right wing, but I'm not sure I would have said Dirk Kuyt. He was a good... I like Dirk Kuyt a lot, though. Yaya Toure and Kolo Toure. Kolo, yes. But, yeah, Yaya came from Barcelona. There you go. Demir, he wasn't flashy or a superstar. He wasn't. He was just a humble player. I think Dirk Kuyt, every team needs a Dirk Kuyt, don't they? He would have played everywhere, and he'd have given us an 8 out of 10 in every... He's kind of like Szoboszlai is now, really. Except Szoboszlai's got a lot more pace. Dirk Kuyt wasn't a pacey player, but you could put him in any area on the pitch and he would do a job for you. He was tireless, he was really clever, he was just a really important player for Liverpool. Patrice Evra has to be, yeah, Patrice Evra, superb for the money. And Frank Lampard began in Scotty Cannon's shadow. Yeah, I love that clip. Maybe I didn't want to say this in front of him, but that kid will go right to the very top. Right to the very top. What Frank Lampard and Scotty Cannon will achieve in their careers won't compare. I love that. Anyone mention Lucas Leiva? Again, Lucas, great servant for Liverpool. 6 million quid from Gremio. Massively exceed expectations? I don't think so. No, I think we got a bargain. He played for us for a very long time, and I liked him a lot. But yeah, I'm not sure he came in and we signed him as a box to box. Remember when Lucas Leiva first came to Liverpool? Everyone said he was going to be like Gerrard. He was a box to box midfielder that would get up and down the pitch. He ended up being the polar opposite. He ended up being a player who, for the most part, ran like he was running through treacle. But he was so clever defensively, and he was good at that kind of footing stuff, and he was really important for us for a number of seasons. Jurgen Klopp really liked him. I think we sold him maybe a year too soon as well. Pup says Glenn Kamara for Rangers, bought for about 70,000. That's 1,000, not million, and was the backbone of the Europa League run. Yeah, Glenn Kamara scoring an epic goal in the semi against Leipzig. Nice. Pup says probably be releasing a DVD of that match tomorrow. I don't know why people keep saying... Charles and Hang Navy have just said 1-1 in the chat. It isn't 1-1. It's 1-0. I can assure you it is still 1-0. MC, I think you're harsh there. I thought Lucas Leiva was a great shout. He was... Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm trying to be ruthless as we get towards the tail end of the show and the tail end of the list. But Lucas Leiva, I liked him. I liked him a lot. But I just feel like for 6 million quid, he wasn't the player we thought we were getting. But he ended up being a really good servant to Liverpool. Kind of like Kuyt, I guess. Lucas Leiva and Dirk Kuyt are very similar. Oh, Valladolid off the bar. Very nearly 1-1. Did Horkas get a touch on this? Alejo is screaming at the lines when he wants a corner kick. Don't think he's getting one. It's a fabulous effort, that, though. And Horkas is He's been given us a goal kick, but Horkas is getting big thumbs up and, celebrations from his defenders here. Did he get a touch on this? Because if he did, this is a wonderful save in the 89th minute. Great strike, took a deflection. So it should have been a corner anyway. Does Horkas get a touch? I don't think he does, no. It took a big deflection off the defender and smashed the crossbar, and over it goes for a goal kick. Jordy, how are the lads? Voltemada brace for Germany, mate. Yeah, I saw. Good performance yet again for the German national team. Swifty, remember when Blackburn nearly signed Lewandowski for 3 million? Yeah, with the Icelandic volcanic ash cloud. Ended up costing him that move, didn't he? If the Icelandic ash cloud hadn't happened, he was on a flight to Manchester, wasn't he? That day. But the ash cloud, sorry, not the ice cloud. The ash cloud halted flights across Europe, and Lewandowski ended up signing for Borussia Dortmund. Clarkey, Pepe Reina, yeah. Pepe Reina from Villarreal. 6 million quid. Another good signing, top signing. Jordy, good to see you doing a watch-along of La Liga 2. It's been a good game, It has been a good game. I think second half has maybe died down, but my prediction of 1-0 Las Palmas, I should have put... always the ones where I say, I get the scoreline bang on, I don't put anything on. But I could have... I said it was going to be a low-scoring game, and I fancied Las Palmas. 1-0. Thomas Roberts, what time is your live tomorrow? Live tomorrow is at 2:30. MK Dons against Salford City in League 2. Clarkey, Ryan Babel, definitely not Ryan Babel. Ryan Babel was I wouldn't say a waste of money, but 18 million quid from Ajax. It was a lot of money. Didn't ever really kick on. Fabinho, no. Again, Fabinho was 40 million quid from Monaco. Became one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, maybe even the best in the world at one point. But no, I don't think he massively exceeded. Kante, certainly, Thomas, and Lucas Leiva, did he captain the team a few times? He did, yeah. He did. He was he played centre-back quite a few times for us as well towards the end of his Liverpool career. But, and do you know what? And I think I'm right in saying, how many goals did he score for Liverpool, Lucas Leiva? There weren't that many. He scored one against an absolute worldie against Havant and Waterlooville in the FA Cup, a curler in the top corner from about 30 yards out. But the only goal that he scored, I think, in Europe, was it against Rabotnicki? FK Rabotnicki. I was there. It's a collector's item. If you've seen a Lucas Leiva goal, not La Liga, I keep saying La Liga. If you've seen a Lucas Leiva goal in person, it's an absolute collector's item. MC Reina, great, but don't think qualifies for this discussion. 6 mil for a keeper in mid-2000s was a lot. Do you know what? That's a fair point, actually. I stand corrected. I absolutely agree with you on that one. Keepers' price tags hadn't yet inflated to the level of Kepa and Alisson and various others. But yeah, 6 million was a lot for him back then. We weren't that long out of... How much did we pay for Jerzy Dudek? I mean, Petr Cech was about 6 million, wasn't he? Didn't Chelsea pay about 6 million for Petr Cech? Goalkeepers, it's mad that, isn't it? It's mad how that didn't really correct itself for a long time. That's a great point, actually. There's a lot of goalkeeper fees, really top goalkeepers who moved for quite modest fees. I mean, there was Buffon, obviously, he skews it a little bit, but yeah, about the mid-2000s, you're right. There was a lot of good goalkeepers who moved for very, very little. Edwin van der Sar, yeah. Edwin van der Sar was 10 million quid, wasn't he? 10 million from Fulham. And he was already about 30-something at that point, wasn't he? He was getting on. Swifty, Fabregas was incredible value, but more a steal from a youth system. Yeah, a bit like Piqué, I guess. Piqué was the same. That's what that's why maybe I wouldn't have included Lucas and players like that. If you sign players who are like 18, 19, the expectations are based on how they develop. So I was thinking more like Matip for me is like the gold standard, and maybe Andy Robertson too. They were signed not necessarily to come in and be first team players. They were signed, like Andy Robertson was basically free. We gave Hull Kevin Stewart for 8 million. They gave us Andy Robertson for 8 million. So we basically got him for free at the exact same time. Matip was free. And I think probably is maybe our best ever free signing. Him and James Milner. Dennis Irwin. Yeah, Dennis Irwin's up there. Vinny Jr. to Madrid. Nah, again, it doesn't quite fit the profile, that one. There's not many. I don't think Real Madrid would have anyone in this list, would they? That's not true, actually. Come on, Key. Look, players who went to Real Madrid where the expectation wasn't that high, but then they ended up being top quality players. There's a few, wasn't there? Like McManaman, to be honest. McManaman ended up getting shoved out on the right wing. On the bench a lot. Wasn't that sort of a player. Marcelo, yeah, Marcelo. There's loads of players. It feels like Real Madrid went dead heavy with left backs for a while. Who was the what was his name? Fabio Quintrao. Who was the other fella they signed from Real Madrid? Cicinho. There's a load of players like that, wasn't there? They signed left backs. Dimitar Berbatov, yeah. Berbatov to Spurs, I think, would be a very good shout. Right, it's full time here. Valladolid 0, Las Palmas 1. That was a really good game, that. I enjoyed that. Thank you very much for everyone who has been in tonight. I enjoyed even more this chat. Was Son known before Spurs? He was doing well at Leverkusen, but I'm not sure. I think he would probably fit the profile, yeah. I think we'll talk more about this tomorrow, because I like this subject. I might even do a video on this, but I like this subject. I think we've maybe opened a can. I like it. So yeah, we'll have this discussion tomorrow. If you're around for MK Dons against Salford, I'm going to be doing that. League 2, top of the table clash in League 2 tomorrow, and we'll see how they get on. But for tonight, Las Palmas go back to the top of La Liga 2. They look like they're primed to come back up to La Liga, and it was a really good performance, really good goal as well, that keeps them right at the top, right at the summit. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Lots of love. Enjoy your Friday night and whatever you're doing with it, and I will see you all tomorrow, Saturday. Take it easy. Enjoy your weekend if you're not coming back.